ever get confused between Newcastle-under-Lyme and Newcastle-upon-Tyne? I should hope you don't, but let's go through a few facts for you. One has stotties and the other has oatcakes. One has the big market and the other has the iron market. One has 52,000-seater St James's Park and the other has 350-seater Lyme Valley Stadium. Can you tell which is which yet? Well, as reported exclusively on BBC Radio Stoke this week, it looks like the government's found it hard to tell the difference. So hard, in fact, that it's given £2 million to our Newcastle that should have been given to the one in the northeast.
We took this money, obviously in good faith. The local authority near to us, Stafford, actually got a similar amount of money, so we weren't surprised when we got this. And now we receive a letter, obviously, of last week, asking us to give it back to the government.
That was the Conservative leader of Newcastle Borough Council, Councillor Simon Tagg. £2,020,000 was allocated to our Newcastle under a government scheme which is supposed to give back some business rates to local councils. Now, our friends in the north noticed they were a little bit out of pocket and now they've been compensated, but, and it is quite a big but, the government want their cash back. So, council taxpayers here could end up paying it back. But Councillor Tagg says it won't be quite that simple.
The government are wanting it back, and we should be obviously asking them initially, we'll be asking for a meeting with them to see, well, you made a mistake once, can you check your figures again? Because, you've got people down there who don't even know which Newcastle is which, so can you check your figures again to start with? That will be our opening conversation with the government.
But not everyone in Newcastle is quite so quick to blame the government. Labour group leader Sylvia Butler says alarm bells should have rung at the Borough Council as soon as they noticed an extra $2 million in its coffers.
I don't say that I would say that we were all surprised how much it was, and I would have thought that we should have checked it out. It should have been checked just to make sure it was okay. The finance department at the borough at that time was being run by consultants. So maybe if we'd had permanent staff, they might have picked it up, might have been a bit surprised at how much it was.
And this isn't the first time the government's got its Newcastles mixed up. The area's Labour MP, Mark Farrelly's told BBC Radio Stoke it's been going on for years.
I've lost count of the times now. When I first became an MP, 6.5 years ago, I used to get regular missives from civil servants congratulating me on things that were happening on Tyneside, and I long stopped sending them back with tart, smart remarks, because it happens all the time. This time, frankly, it's the first time that that sort of mix-up has actually had any financial repercussions locally, and I want the government to put its hand up and say, mea culpa, we're at fault on this side, but I want the local council to engage in actually making sure that everything is dealt with properly and openly.
And BBC Radio Stoke's been out on the streets of Newcastle town centre, that's Newcastle-under-Lyme, finding out what a few shoppers make of it.
People like us paid anything we shouldn't have, we have to pay back anyway. There's some clerical error gone on there somewhere, haven't they, really? A lot of people do get Newcastle-on-Tyne mixed up with Newcastle-under-Lyme.
I think it's a shame that they have got to pay it back. If that's the case, if it has been for 2 years, then maybe, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we just have to say, well, that was a mistake, so be it. And I'm sure Newcastle-under-Lyme would benefit by the £2 million.
I think they should pay it back. It's honesty, isn't it? Yeah. It'd be lovely to have £2 million, but it's not ours, is it? So it needs to go back to where it was. Nice mistake, but go up there and present it to them and make a tie-up, There's an opportunity to be had there, isn't there, actually, if they look at it that way. We're little Newcastle, they're big Newcastle, because I've been to Newcastle and so went to university there, so, it's a fantastic place, but, most people don't know that this Newcastle exists, so there's an opportunity, isn't there?
Well, why should big cities have it and not small towns? A lot of people get a bigger slice of the cake than others, so why not?
Well, I think it's a stupid mistake. Fair enough, two towns that's called Newcastle, but one's under Lyme and one's upon Tyne, so that's a daft mistake. Pay it back.
Shoppers in Newcastle, that's Newcastle-under-Lyme, talking about the government mix-up earlier this week.